She tells him, ooh, love, no one's ever gonna hurt you, love. I'm gonna give you all of my love. Nobody matters like you.
Hey guys, Mosa here, and today I'm bringing you my Week 7 NFL Power Rankings. Now, without further ado, let's get started. Now, starting off at 32, we got the Detroit Lions. Now, the Lions are 0-6, the only team that is winless. They just came off a loss at home against the Bengals, and they go up against the Rams in Los Angeles. Now, this is most likely going to be a Lions loss. They're going to go 0-7 to start off the year, but there's also the chance that the defense of the Detroit Lions goes into effect like it has been throughout the entirety of the 2021 season, but falter at the end. And that's usually the Lions' fault. That is why the Lions have been losing. They end the games with a failed defense, and that is the reason why they've been losing. Although the offense of the Detroit Lions would have to go up against a Rams defense, which is honestly just too tough for them, and I think Jared Goff will have no chance against his former team. Now, on to number 31, which is the Jacksonville Jaguars at 1-5, getting their first win in London against the Miami Dolphins. Now, the Jaguars will be on a bye, so that's going to be helping out the Jaguars, giving them a little break before coming back to football. But they're going to have to come back heavy because the rest of the season is not going to be looking pretty for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, on to number 30, which is the Houston Texans, also at 1-5. They just came off a devastating loss to the Indianapolis Colts and go up against the undefeated team in the NFL, the Arizona Cardinals. Now, I expect this to be a destruction of the Texans. There's no way Arizona will lose this game. Although, don't get your hopes up that the Texans end up winning this game, because there might be an opportunity if the defense of the Texans gets their heads together, stop Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, and that entire offense. Although, I still expect the Texans to lose no matter what. Now, on to number 29, which is the New York Giants at 1-5, coming off a loss to the Los Angeles Rams, and going up against the Panthers. I think the Giants have done alright this year for a team that wasn't going to make the playoffs, but injuries is really going to hurt them. Tooney's probably going to be out. Galladay, hopefully he's not out. And then you get Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley. That offense is going to suffer in this game against the Carolina Panthers. But is the Panthers offense going to struggle as well? Because they have not been doing well these past few weeks. And honestly, the Giants might sneak a win out of this. Now, on to number 28, which is the Miami Dolphins. At 1-5, going up against the Jaguars in London. Well, it came out as a game-winning field goal for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Although they're going to go up against the Falcons next, so I expect them to beat the Falcons. But this was too close of a game to honestly say that they might not beat the Falcons. Because honestly, if they continue to do what they did against the Jaguars and giving the Jags their first win, honestly, well-deserved at the end. But losing to Jacksonville, that is my question. How does a team like Miami lose to Jacksonville? But as long as they get their act together, I think that they will be able to beat the Falcons next week. Now, on to the Washington football team at number 27. And at 2-4, they lose to the Chiefs in a blowout. Now, honestly, this was kind of expected. Like, Washington going up against the Chiefs is like Alabama going up against Jacksonville. Like, that's the kind of game I would have expected. Although, looking at how the Kansas City Chiefs have been playing, it is kind of tough to say that they blow out against a team like this. But they go up against the Packers, and yeah, there's no hope for Washington against the Green Bay Packers. Now, on to the Indianapolis Colts at 2-4. At home, they go on and defeat the Texans in a shutout. Now they go up against the San Francisco 49ers. Now, this is a must-win for both teams. As we all know, Seattle lost last week and is now last in the division. So San Francisco needs to win against the Indianapolis Colts in order to go to 500. But the Indianapolis Colts need to continue winning to continue having hopes for the playoffs. And honestly, I see it as more in favor of San Francisco due to how Indianapolis has been playing throughout these 6 weeks. But to be honest, it could go either ways. Now at number 25, we got the New York Jets at 1-4 coming off a bye. Now, they go up against the Patriots. And even though the Patriots did defeat them the first time, this time it's going to be a win for New York. I think that New York will upset the Patriots after the Patriots lost to the Dallas Cowboys. And to be honest, it's not out of the realm of possibility that they could actually win against New England. Like, we all know that rookie quarterbacks have not done that well against Bill Belichick. The last one to do so being Russell Wilson back in 2012. But honestly, I'm going to just say this. The Jets are starting to improve. And that is why I think that the Jets might win. But I'm not saying they will officially until the predictions video comes out on Thursday. Now, coming in at number 24 is the New England Patriots coming off a loss to the Cowboys. Now, as I stated, the Jets will most likely win this game, in my opinion. But anything could change in the past few days. Because on Thursday, I will officially say whether the Jets will win or lose. But I'm leaning more for New York this game. Although, as I stated, Bill Belichick has never lost to a rookie quarterback since Russell Wilson. Now at 23, we got the Atlanta Falcons at 2-3. Now they're coming off a bye, and they go up against the Dolphins. Now this could go either ways. As I stated with the Dolphins, it could go either ways, but Miami should be able to win this. Should be. But they might lose this due to the fact that there actually might be a chance that the Miami Dolphins keep up playing how they're doing, and which is not good at all. I think that the Dolphins will have a tough matchup against the Atlanta Falcons. Now, coming in at number 22, we got the Philadelphia Eagles at 2-4. Now, they came off a loss to the Buccaneers, although it was a very close loss. But to be honest, I'm going to just say this. They're going up against the Raiders, and it's most likely going to be a Raiders win. It's in Las Vegas, so that's the number one. Home field advantage for the Raiders. But is it going to be enough for the Raiders to be able to beat the Philadelphia Eagles? I think it might be. But there is a possibility that Las Vegas actually loses to the Eagles, but I will not be saying so until the prediction is out. Now on to number 21, which is the Denver Broncos at 3-3, coming off a loss to the Raiders and going up against the Browns, who just lost to the Cardinals. Now, the Browns, they are honestly not impressive anymore. They are starting to honestly make me feel sick on how they've been playing. At least these last two losses that they've had. But I'm going to just say this. If Cleveland doesn't get their act together, this is going to be a devastating season for the Browns and their fans too. They made the playoffs last year and beat the Steelers as well. Like, imagine the next year, you don't even make it. And that's a very big possibility for the Browns. Although, when it comes to Denver, they're doing pretty well, and they might have a chance against Cleveland. Now, at number 20, we got the Chicago Bears at 3-3, going up against the Buccaneers at Tampa Bay after their loss to the Packers in Lambeau. Now, this is going to be a tough game for the Bears, 100%. It's always going to be a tough game when you go up against the Buccaneers, the defending champs. But my question is, are these the same Bears we started seeing earlier in the year, or has Justin Fields been able to change that team for the better? I think it's too early to say. But if they are able to beat the Buccaneers, that is going to be a heavy win for the Chicago Bears. Now at number 19, we got the Carolina Panthers at 3-3, coming off a loss to the Vikings and going up against the Giants. Now, as I stated, the Giants and the Panthers are mostly equal due to the fact that Carolina isn't playing good, while New York is mostly injured. But honestly, I'm going to say this. The Carolina Panthers and the Giants are more or less equal, but I still think the Panthers could come out with the win. But don't be surprised if the New York Giants end up taking the win. Now at number 18, we got the Cincinnati Bengals at 4-2, coming off a win against the Detroit Lions. Going up against the Los Angeles Rams is almost a death sentence. I think that the Bengals will most likely lose to the Rams, but there is a possibility Joe Burrow and that offense could go to 5-2 rather than drop to 4-3. But honestly, it's the Rams. It's the Rams. And honestly, this could go in the Rams' favor heavily, since the Bengals are just been either playing lucky or they've actually been going up against easy opponents, which both are true. Now, on to the Minnesota Vikings, and they are 3-3. They beat the Panthers this week, and they're on a bye. Now, this is going to be a relaxed week for the Minnesota Vikings. Hopefully, they can get their rest and come back full for week 8. But honestly, the Vikings are honestly going to be a surprising team this year. Although, don't get your hopes up, because even though they might have a chance at making the wild card, don't expect them to even come close to winning this division. Now, on to the Cleveland Browns at 3-3. Just came off a loss to the Arizona Cardinals and will go up against the Denver Broncos. Now, this could go either ways. Denver is bad, but not too bad, and so is Cleveland. And honestly, it is a surprising game, especially after the Cleveland loss to the Arizona Cardinals. But don't give up on Cleveland. They might have a chance this year at making it back to the playoffs and even winning a game. But honestly, I don't think they're going to make the Super Bowl at all. Now at number 15, I'm going to start my rant against the Seahawks. 2-4. 2-4. That is horrific. And honestly, it was as expected. It was expected we would lose to the Steelers. Although, we gave them a very heavy fight. Because honestly, it wasn't too bad from Geno Smith. It wasn't a bad game. But, there is this fact. This team is nothing without Wilson. And now we're expected to possibly bring in Cam Newton. And honestly, that would be a good decision for the Seahawks if Cam Newton wasn't injury prone. And that is the only reason why I say that Cam Newton will most likely not be a Seattle Seahawk, and we will just keep going with Geno. Now up next is the Steelers at 3-3. They just beat my Seahawks, and honestly, their defense in the second half was horrendous. They still came out with the win, and now they're going into the bye. Now, unlike Seattle, who's going to go against the Saints, and that's probably going to be a loss too, honestly, the bye is going to help the Steelers a lot. But if they don't get their heads together for this next week in week 8, I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers will most likely be losing many games in the upcoming weeks. Now up next, we got the Las Vegas Raiders at 4-2. They just beat the Denver Broncos, and now they're going up against the Eagles, which is most likely going to be a win. But don't count out Philadelphia. There might be a chance where they actually do something, because they were able to nearly beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And that was impressive. And honestly, I think that the Las Vegas Raiders have it in for themselves. Because honestly, this next week is going to be very tough for the Raiders, even though they're a good team. Now, on to the New Orleans Saints, who were on a bye, are going up against the Seahawks in Seattle. Now, I'm going to say this might be a win for the Saints. I think my Seahawks have been doing very bad on defense, and without Russell Wilson, it's going to be very tough. Although, if that offense starts making mistakes, that is going to be the break Seattle needs in order to win this game. Because there's no way that, honestly, even though Alex Collins has been doing very good for the Seahawks, and even though Geno Smith has also been doing very good. I still think that this might be a loss for the Seattle Seahawks. Up next, we got the 49ers at 2-3 coming off a bye. They're going up against the Colts. I think this could go either ways, but this is a must-win game for both teams. Whether it's Trey Lance, Jimmy Garoppolo, or even if it's their third-string quarterback, they got to win this game. And they most likely will. But don't count out Carson Wentz either. He has been doing very decently the past week. But, as I stated, they did just beat the Texans. So that also goes into the fact that they might just be winning out of luck. Up next, we got the Dallas Cowboys at 5-1. Now, they just beat the Patriots and are going on a bye. Now, Dak Prescott has been doing great. It doesn't even look like the guy broke his leg last year. And Zeke Elliott, not that bad. Then we get to CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper. These guys have been doing excellent for the Dallas Cowboys. And honestly, I think that the Dallas Cowboys will continue to win for the meanwhile. And it's not out of the realm of possibility that they'd end up with the NFC East title. Now, on to the Los Angeles Chargers at 4-2. Just came off a loss to the Baltimore Ravens and will go on a bye. Now, when it comes to the Chargers, I think that Offensive Player of the Year might go to Justin Herbert. He's been doing very good. He's even in contention, possibly in contention for MVP. That's how good he's been doing. And honestly, I expect him to do even better. But to be honest, it's not out of the realm of possibility that he falls off now. Now, on to the Kansas City Chiefs. After their win over the Washington football team, they go up against the Titans, who just defeated the Buffalo Bills. I think that this might be a Chiefs win, most likely. But I think don't count the Titans out, because the Titans might upset the better team of the losing teams. Because honestly, even though they're 3-3, I believe that the Chiefs are a losing team right now. But it's also not in the realm of possibility that they might get back to where they once were and become contenders for the Super Bowl once again. Now we move on to Arizona. At 6-0 after their win over the Browns, they go up against the Texans, and there's no way they're going to lose to the Texans. It's going to be a destruction of the Houston Texans by the Arizona Cardinals. There's no chance of the Arizona Cardinals to go 6-1 at this point. I think they'll go 7-0, and let's see where they go after that, because after that, I don't know where the Arizona Cardinals could possibly go, although they might have the chance to win their division in the upcoming weeks. Now, on to the Tennessee Titans. At 4-2, they beat the Buffalo Bills. Now they go up against Kansas City. This might be the chance for the Chiefs to get back rolling, or if they're going down once again. Even though they beat the Washington football team, I think that the Tennessee Titans might get the edge over the Chiefs. And honestly, it was proven to their win against the Bills that they could actually defeat tough teams. And honestly, I think that this is going to be a tough game for both teams, but that Tennessee might come out with the win. Now, kicking off the top 5, we got the Los Angeles Rams at, honestly, 5-1 against the New York Giants. They got a win, and now they're going up against the Detroit Lions at home. This is going to be a win for the Rams, but as I stated with the Detroit Lions, this might be the chance that they have to actually take the win over Los Angeles and give them their second loss of the year, although it might just be at the end of the game the Los Angeles Rams take the win. Now at number 4, we got the Green Bay Packers at 5-1, and they go up against the Washington football team after taking down the Bears. Now, this is most likely going to be a Packers win. There's no doubt in my mind. That's all that needs to be said. Green Bay will not lose to the Washington football team. Now, kicking off the top 3, we got the Baltimore Ravens at 5-1. They defeated handily the Los Angeles Chargers and go up against the Bengals. It's most likely going to be a win for the Ravens, but do not count out the Bengals, who have been doing decently through the past weeks, even going to overtime with the Packers. So that's something that you need to look forward to. But as far as I can see, the Ravens will most likely win this game. Now at number 2, we got the Buffalo Bills. Their loss on Monday Night Football dropped them a spot. And at 4-2, they got beat by the Tennessee Titans 31-34 just on Monday Night Football. And now they're going into the bye. This is going to be a interesting bye for the Buffalo Bills. I think that this is going to be interesting mostly because what is the AFC playoff picture going to look like? Right now, I think the Buffalo Bills, or another team specifically, but no longer is it the Los Angeles Chargers at number 1. I think it's the Buffalo Bills. And honestly, I think that they are the number 1 team in that conference. Now at number 1, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 6-1. Honestly, even though they nearly took an L to the Philadelphia Eagles, that's not going to happen against Chicago next week. Chicago is going to lose to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That is my prediction. But honestly, when is Gronk going to be, honestly, the player that he was during the start of the season? When is Mike Evans going to do well? Because he didn't do that well against the Eagles last week. But Antonio Brown has been doing excellent as the third string receiver. Like, you got Chris Godwin, you got Mike Evans, and Antonio Brown just making plays. Fournette and Ronald Jones in the backfield. Tom Brady slinging it. That defense just stopping teams, although they didn't stop the Eagles that much last week. I think that it's going to be different with the Chicago Bears. Now, that was it for this video. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Tweet me any video ideas. Also, tell me down in the comments below, who do you think should be the number 1 team in the NFC, in the AFC, and overall in the NFL? Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Now, like this video if you liked it, subscribe, and hit the notification if you want more videos. And I'll see you guys next time.